Hello, everybody. It is Dee and Renee, and we want to welcome you today. Dee is broadcasting from her new studio at home. Say hi, Dee.
Hello, everybody.
I'm sorry, we had a little technical difficulties this morning, so we had to sign in with a different registration here, and Facebook is being difficult to me today, which is a little frustrating, but that's okay. And the reason I'm not looking at the screen is because I'm trying to figure out how to bring up all of our pictures here. Woo, we got it. There we go. All right, so this is not the picture I want. I am going to be, I guess we get to flip through a bunch of pictures vicariously today. Okay, let's just say hi to a couple of people. A little pressure here. Hi, Karen. Karen was at our retreat.
Hi, Karen.
And Myra, say hi. Thanks for jumping on here, you guys. Hi,
hello,
Jennifer.
Myra. Hi, Jennifer.
The cooking show, and I'm gonna have to take this down. So Dee, well, I'm trying to figure out this craziness over here. Would you tell people about your new baking book and how they can find it?
Sure. So as you all know, I love to make recipes, create, and share. And although I have a lot of recipes, we decided to do a little collection of some of the baking recipes. And basically what I'm looking for is I am looking for all of your feedback. Is it something that you like and enjoy? Does it make your journey easier? Does it enhance it? What kind of recipes are you looking for? What kind of ideas would help you the most on your journey? Are you looking for protein and veggie ideas? Are you looking for Instapot ideas, air fryer ideas? Do you like a combination of them all? So really, if you have the ebook, I want all your constructive criticism, and so don't be scared. If there's things that you don't like or that I can improve on, please let me know those as well. Yeah, it would be great. So I just help me to help you even more. So that would be awesome.
Yeah. So I'm just now putting a survey. If you would take our survey, that will help us in creating recipes that you want, in creating more ebooks that are interesting to you. So I'm going to put a survey. I'm typing it right now as we speak. I'm putting in a survey link. If you would grab that link and just tell us, kind of what is interesting to you and all of that. So one of the things I did notice is about 22% of the people watch us live. And then another about another 22% watch us both live and recorded. And the feedback we're getting so far with the survey is people really want quick and easy dinner recipes and maintenance and lifestyle recipes. So awesome, you guys. We will work on that. If you have Dee's recipe cookbook already, you've downloaded it, send us a donut emoji for the baking cookbook. So I love those donut emojis. Everybody was super creative with those last week. And we've got here from West Virginia. I'm assuming WV means West Virginia. And yeah, okay. So now let's move on. And if you guys are watching us in the live version, please type #live. If you're watching the replay, #replay. If you would like these recipes, all you have to do is type newsletter And you do need to go through a little process of signing up for the newsletter. So first you're going to say yes, and that means that you're saying it's okay to send you the link to the newsletter sign up. Then you're going to click on the newsletter button and get signed up for that. And they come out on Mondays. So next Monday is when these recipes will be coming out. If you are a coach or a clinic that would like to be an affiliate, meaning that we will send you a discount code for your clinic dieters to download the ebook, all you have to do is either type clinic or coach. So if you're an owner, type clinic. If you're a coach, type coach, and fill out our affiliate survey, and we will be happy to send you a special code that will give you access to share with your clients. Oh, I love Jennifer. Woo! 4 donut emojis.
Nice.
All right, you guys. Let's see.
And if they're IP donuts, you can eat all 4.
That is true. Oh, look, Karen has a donut also. Love it, you guys. All right, so let's take a look here. And the theme of today's recipes is vegetarian. So we have a lot of clients. I know I personally have a ton of vegetarian clients. And, you know, they don't have a lot of options sometimes in the world of protein. So Dee created all vegetarian recipes. And one of the things we talked about is making sure that every one of our broadcasts has something vegetarian included in it. So that'll be awesome for the future. Okay. So Dee, tell us about this.
So for anybody that's familiar with the protocol, there is a product on the shelf, and it is the vegetable chili. And it is not something that would be my first choice to reach for, just because it is a restricted product. However, I do have to say that once you try it and incorporate it into some recipes, it is a fantastic product. It is also very filling. Or I should say, you can turn it into a very filling recipe, and you can be very creative with it. So the base spices that are in that vegetable chili are really very good. And here I just really added to them. So I used jicama as my beans. So I actually cut them into the same, size as a real bean would look like, so that they can soak up and absorb some liquid for me. I added my vegetables. The great thing about chili, if you've ever made a pot of homemade chili, there is not a right or wrong way to what veggies that you want to add. So of course, if you're in phase 1, you're going to stick to your sheet, but there's a wide variety, peppers and celery and tomatoes, whatever you like can actually go in there. Now, I have to do homework, and I had to consult Renee and some other sources on vegetarian options. So it's really easy to do things like eggs and vegetables for a vegetarian. But when it comes to other sources, such as tofu or other plant-based items, I'm definitely not the expert. So I have a lot of learning to do. So my first task was I did want to try to bake with tofu this week, and I have in the past, I don't mind it at all. But I was looking for fermented sprouted tofu. So in my neck of the woods, it's a little bit trickier to find, so I had to go on a hunt. But pictured in this recipe is a serving of grated tofu. And with the vegetables and the other spices and there's a few little beans in that vegetable chili too, real ones. Great texture and great flavor. Because what the tofu does is it just simply soaks up all the flavor of the herbs and spices that you use and the juices from the vegetables. And it makes a really hearty, tasty serving. So I was very encouraged to keep trying. And my 17-year-old, when I was making that, was like, "Oh, that smells good. What is that?" And so I told him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll try that." So it was awesome. So that's what we're looking for. And one thing that I can tell you just from a personal side of the story is that I was raised, I'm a farmer's daughter. I was raised in a farming community. I probably ate more grass-fed and higher quality beef than most people will ever eat in their lifetime. And so I am not anti-beef, but I'm also not anti-plant-based. So I am open to trying a little bit of everything. So I'm really excited to try to incorporate a few plant-based recipes.
Well, the way that I grew up, it wasn't cool to be a vegetarian.
Oh,
So
okay.
one of the things D has a new computer system. So one of the things D you can do is turn down your volume a little bit so you can still hear me, but that we don't get any feedback.
Okay.
But anyway, so I grew up in a world where being a vegetarian, like nobody knew a vegetarian. I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and we were vegetarian because we were a certain kind of religion. So long before there was a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's or it was cool to be vegan, I was eating gluten-based products. And when I say gluten, it's different than the gluten that you hear about today. And so it's not that, GMO related gluten that is causing us digestive issues. My mom actually made a lot of things, and then we got a lot of things through the Loma Linda foods. So very, very interesting growing up. I didn't think it was so cool then, but I have to tell you that for my digestive system, having a primarily plant-based diet has worked for me for many years, and supplementing, of course, with omegas. And I used to eat a lot of fish. That changed for me when I got some leaky gut. And you can watch a video that I did over on my nutrition and wellness community that we just talked about last night, which was very cool with Dr. Vicky. So if you are just jumping on here and you would like these recipes, they come out on Mondays. And all you have to do is type in the word newsletter, and we will be happy to get that to you. And so let's talk about this. And by the way, I am a lover of tofu, but tofu is an acquired, I think it's not so much that it's an acquired taste, it's an acquired texture. So you can do it in a lot of different ways. And this looks to me like I've had scrambled tofu, like scrambled eggs before. This looks very similar to that. So let's talk about this, Dee.
Oh, this is actually curry cauliflower rice. And so I riced the tofu, and there's not a lot in there. So Renee is going to help us with the actual conversion and serving size of the tofu, because a serving of tofu, you don't want to exceed 35 to 40 grams. Is that correct?
Well, so when you are, so there's a very specific list which you can get from your coach, and it is a vegetarian list of products. So there's some variety of products that you can use. And when you are looking at using, like you're comparing your 8 ounces of animal protein to, you're going to compare it to grams of protein when you're looking at vegetarian meats. So according to our scientific support center, that is between 30 and 40 grams of protein. Now we have to, again, have that nice combination and balance between the right amount of carbohydrates. So a lot of vegetarian products that you're going to find in your maybe the tofu section or the tempeh or different things like that, you've got to really watch the carbohydrates on them. And so we do have a very specific list that we can share with you also. And talk to your coach, because your coach, definitely will have that information.
So in this picture, there is 9 grams of tofu, 9 grams of protein worth of tofu, and 0 carbohydrates. So that really excites me because I like it when your protein has no carbohydrates. So this was really exciting, but I did grate it to match my grated cauliflower. And again, so then I'm simply making curry cauliflower rice and adding a little bit more protein with the tofu. So really simple. And this is not my specialty. So what I do is I find recipes that I would, that I think I would eat because they contain things that I like. And so this one has, of course, curry and a little bit of turmeric and a little bit of lemon zest and a touch of cinnamon and garlic. I love garlic, and so garlic is in there. A traditional one would call for a Spanish onion. We can't have onions because of the caramelization, so green onion gave the flavor. And so super fast and simple, easy dish to make. So fast. And so this morning, Renee also did a live on bone broth and homemade chicken soup stock. So I do have a little bit of chicken bone broth in this recipe too. So fast and really filling. And you're either going to love the taste of curry or you are not. And so my house is divided. So again, my 17-year-old is like, I'm eating that. Our 14-year-old daughter was like, ugh, what is that smell? So there you go. So,
I love Indian foods. So yeah, definitely love that. So, all right. Want to say hi to a couple of people here. Maria says hi, and Danny says hello. And let's see if I have anybody else on here right now. No. Okay, so remember, if you are interested in getting the recipes, they come out on Mondays, and they do come out in our newsletter. And right now, they're going to connect you over to a blog over on my website, but we'll be transferring that blog over to Dee's recipes here pretty soon. Dee, created her wonderful cookbook. And if you haven't downloaded it, there is a link in the comments section. Check that out. All right, you guys. One more here. We got, what a pretty name. Angela J. All right, very pretty. All right, what do we got here, Dee?
Okay, so this picture isn't actually a great picture because it doesn't show how actually awesome that this is. But this is a version of a potato dumpling. So there are lots of ethnicities that are really used to having potato dumplings, dough dumplings, in many different forms. And my baba used to make a potato dumpling called halushki. And it is delicious, let me tell you. It is also the kind of meal, though, that when you are eating it, it tastes so good that you end up eating too much of it. And then once you're done eating too much, you sit in the chair and you can't move for an hour because your belly is full of dough. So, traditionally, you make the dumplings and then you serve it with cabbage and paprika and bacon and sour cream. So this one, I still served it with the cabbage and garlic and paprika, and it's really, really good. And for my potato, I use grated jicama in my potato replacement. And then you can either use a omelet packet or the potato puree packet with some egg white to create your dumplings. So again, really, really simple. You make sure you make your dough and you drop it into boiling salted water, and you make your potato dumplings, and then you stir fry them together once they are cooked with your cabbage and your spices. So again, super fast, super easy, really filling, and really tasty. And you can season your dumplings as well, or you can just have them plain and put all your seasoning in the cabbage in the pan after. So really easy, lots of fun. Really tickled that jicama works perfectly, just like a traditional grated potato. And, one egg white is enough to bind it together with either your egg or your potato pack. So it's fun and it's really good.
We love it. So Dee sent me this picture last night, and she was like, epic fail. And, as she explained, she is always testing these recipes and trying to, sometimes they just don't work. So tell us about this, Dee.
So I had a base idea, and lots of times when I come up with an idea, I'm pretty confident in my ability to make it work. I have done similar things like this, but you have to remember when you're working with proteins, they're really dry, and so you're looking in ways to infuse flavor. So I was going for a fruit and cinnamon bagel. And just to let you know, I will master this. I will. It's just this one I did not. So I dried peyote and rhubarb for my fruit, for my dried fruit, and of course cinnamon. But one thing that I forgot was that I was still needing to add sufficient moisture to the actual bagel. So a traditional bagel is a high gluten bread flour, and they add sugar, and then they add a lot of yeast to that flour sugar combination. So for most people, it doesn't matter, how long you've been in maintenance for, those types of high sugar, high gluten items are not going to be an everyday part of your life anymore. So of course, I always am intrigued by trying to replicate those standby favorites. In Canada, we have a coffee chain called Tim Hortons, and people line up and drive through just like they do at Starbucks for breakfast sandwiches, bagels, and coffee. And they are the most nutrient deficient food items you will ever see, but really highly popular. So anyway, long story short, these came out of the oven. They look so pretty. I cut them in half. I took a bite. Just picture chewing on the styrofoam peanuts and packaging, because that's exactly what it was like. But then I thought, well, I'll toast it and I'll maybe put some Walden Farms jam on it. Maybe it won't be so bad. It intensified the failure. It really, really did. But it's part of the process. It's part of the test recipe. And I will say this, I'm not a very picky eater at all. So if I tell you it's a fail, it's a fail. I'm pretty confident. But so watch for another version, because I will get it. And I'm kind of excited, because of course once I fail, then that just really kicks me in the pants to figure out a way to make it work. So, yeah.
Okay, you guys. And, if you are watching live, type hashtag live. And if you are watching later in the replay, be sure to let us know, hashtag replay. There is a link to our survey. If you would just take a moment to fill that out, that's going to help us as we are creating more and more recipes and ebooks and things that really, that you love. And I know we get requests for printable recipe cards. Dee and I have so much going on. We get the recipes to you in the newsletter format. And so that's why we are creating these different ebooks, so you can kind of have them all in one place. And we appreciate all of your loyalty and always all your good comments and love all of that. Okay, so Dee sent me this picture the other day, and as you know, I always end on my favorite picture. And this, I was like, holy cow, what is that?
It is a chayote turnover, or a faux apple square. So my mama makes an apple square. And you know what, my whole life, I'm not a fruit eater. I'm just not. I never have been. However, when my mom would make the apple square, I would eat it. And it is another one, just like homemade apple pie, right? But in a square. And of course, it was another one of those items that you just, when they taste so good, you have a hard time stopping at one. It's a common theme. So something that you can easily overeat. So when my household is clean eating, I don't make pie, I don't make those types of things, but I love chayote. I love working with chayote. I love it savory. I love it sweet. It is really an underestimated select veggie on your list. So if you have not used it, if your grocery store does not carry it, you get your produce manager to bring it in. It is so mild, it is so low carb, low glycemic. It is really a fantastic addition, great vitamins. And as pretty as it looks inside that square, it stays. So I used it exactly like you would apples. And what you see it placed on there is my Vanilla Dream cookie. So you would have got that cookie dough, that cookie recipe a few weeks ago. Yes, yeah.
It was a
And so that is my base. And so when you get this recipe, I'm going to give you some tips on how to work with that dough to create this recipe, because you're going to roll it out and you're probably going to have to re-chill it, because of course, if your house is warm, which most of ours are at this time of the year, the dough gets hard to work with when it gets warm. So once you roll it out, you're probably going to have to throw it back in the fridge for about 15 minutes before you can finish working with it to fold over. But you're going to roll it in between parchment paper, and then you're going to fold it over each other using that parchment paper so that it doesn't break apart. So I will explain how you do that for simple success, and then you bake it in the oven, and it's awesome. The chayote is pre-softened, so I'll tell you how to do that as well, and then I'll give you options to season it as well. So I chose sweet instead of savory in here, but you could totally do a savory turnover as well, more like a baked sandwich. So definitely we'll be doing more of these types of recipes. So turnover styles, I have a great one already in the making for rhubarb. And then I also have a savory one. Because you see a lot of things like enchiladas and empanadas and fajitas and tacos and those kind of things. So we can do a lot of these types of things. And the beautiful thing is that it stayed, that picture that you see there, that was the next day. So it sat on the counter covered overnight. It stayed beautiful. It didn't fall. It didn't get mushy. It didn't come apart. It sliced wonderful. And that's 2 servings pictured there as well. So that was breakfast 2 days in a row for me. So it was really great. So I feel like I have a little bit of advantage growing up in a house where my mom made things from scratch. And so I love to take old favorites and then just turn them into a healthier version that you can use long term. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had so much fun a couple weeks ago at the Refresh Retreat. And if you haven't had a chance, definitely go over a couple weeks ago. You can see the grocery shopping tour that Dee did. And I know I've had several people comment to me like how much information they learned on that shopping tour. Just a couple of the live cooking classes. Dee did a meal prep cooking class, which was super fun. And you can watch that whole class and get her tips and ideas. I know we've had a lot of people say, I would love some step-by-step cooking videos. So we'll put that on the list. And if you would take a moment to just click on the survey that is in the comment section, we would really appreciate all of your feedback. So let us know, did you love the vegetarian recipes? Send us some hearts and likes and tell us what you thought. Dee, do you have a few tips for as we are transitioning into March? We're now 2 months into the year. And if you've been on protocol since January 1st, a lot of our clients are down about 20 pounds. Any tips or things that are coming up in your clinic?
Well, spring is around the corner. One of the interesting things that I've seen just in the last week is that, after a good couple of solid months, some dieters are questioning their success. And so I want to touch on this. So, my results have been too good to be true. I'm waiting for the crash, and the crash isn't coming if you're still following 100%. You're getting those results because you've really committed to yourself. And so I think I think it's really neat how, there's a lot of conversation when we don't have success, but it was interesting to see kind of almost like that self-sabotaging thoughts even when they're having success. So we really need to keep the conversation and the language going about, no self-sabotaging, no negative effects, or, self-talk, because we don't want that to come to fruition. Lots of talk about, it's very, very cold where I live right now. We are in a cold snap. It was minus 33 again this morning. So clients are getting really tired of that. So their patience is wearing a little bit thin. They're tired of wearing lots of clothes to weigh in. So that's always everybody is waiting for our weather to turn here. And they're, of course, one of the big things is lots of them are counting weeks right now. They do have their end date in sight. They have big things they want to be done, in 8 weeks or 12 weeks, and here's my reason why. So talking about realistic goal setting and breaking those down for that timeline. So that's kind of what's been going on this last calendar week for us. How about you? What are you seeing this week?
Just about the same stuff.
Same.
That was
Yeah.
my video this morning was about, where are you at as of March 1st? It's in 2 days. And are you where you want to be, and recommitting and setting, keeping the consistent pace to, we have about 100 days until the first day of summer, and really keeping that consistency as you continue down your road. And 100 days is going to come so fast, you're not even going to know it. So being really, stop being in the moment and start being in the future, and just let it happen, and follow the plan just as you know it. All right, you guys, it's been a wonderful show. And Dee, I love that you're all lit up and we get to see your beautiful, beautiful skin. And so we've changed that. Dee has her own new home studio, so very exciting stuff happening here at Dee's Recipes. All right, so talk to you soon, everybody. Next week, we've got more good stuff lined up for you.
So big thanks to Renee for pushing me right out of my comfort zone and making me get things done. But I'm excited for it because it's awesome. It's better already. I can see the difference, Renee. So I really appreciate it.
Yay! Okay. Bye, you guys.
Okay. Bye, everybody.